welcome, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, you've referred and referenced that dozens of states have submitted complete plans for deployment dollars under BEARD and signed final agreements. Rhode Island, my state, has done that. They signed their final agreement nearly 2 months ago, but they have not got any funding, and they have no indications of what lies ahead. Can you clarify the situation? What's the holdup?
If your state has signed the agreement, they should be able to draw funds. There is nothing. Once we send you the document, if you sign it, you can draw funds from the grant process. There should be nothing in the way. And well, I'm happy as I leave here to go find out how I can help you fix that. Because if you've signed that, there should be nothing in your way to receive the grant proceeds.
And if you want a person to deliver it, Newport's a nice place to deliver it.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Until you became secretary, you led the investment bank, Cantor Fitzgerald, and Cantor Fitzgerald is still maintaining significant business ties with Tether, a stablecoin issuer domiciled in El Salvador. And under the Genius Act, which was enacted last year, Tether is permitted to freely offer and sell its stablecoin token in the United States without needing a license from U.S. regulators and without needing to meet any U.S. anti-money laundering and sanctions compliant requirements or obtain an audit. All it needs to do is demonstrate that El Salvador's stablecoin regulations are similar to the United States. And I think this is a huge risk because Tether has been identified as helping to fund Hamas, North Korean WMD proliferation, ransomware attacks, Russian arms deals, et cetera. Now, you said in your confirmation hearing, quote, "I believe U.S. dollar-backed stablecoins should be fully audited," close quote. Does this include Tether? And if so, why has Tether not been audited?
Two things for you. I am, of course, completely divested from all things business. I'm just worried about the United States of America. My understanding is that Tether has launched a U.S. fully approved under the Genius Act stablecoin. So I think the only Tether stablecoin in America will be the fully approved under the Genius Act stablecoin. And generally speaking, I absolutely agree with you. Tether should be audited. I don't have anything to do with it, but I agree with you that Tether should be audited.
Well, we both agree, and so I think it's an indication perhaps that the Genius Act has to be sharpened up a bit because there is no legal requirement for them to be audited, and they can still operate freely in the United States. But that's a topic probably for another hearing. Let me move on to the value of the dollar, Mr. Secretary. It's hit a 4-year low. In fact, it's fallen 10% since the administration took office. And general question, how do we maintain our economic prominence in the world with a weakening dollar? I know some people will point out and say, well, that's good in some respects because it brings investment to the United States, jobs. But in addition to a weakening dollar, we've seen that manufacturing jobs are falling too. So what is your response to these issues about the falling dollar?
The dollar over many years has been manipulated higher in order to keep the U.S. economy from exporting to the rest of the world, right? That's the idea. It's more expensive for everyone else in the world to buy our products, and it's cheaper for us to buy theirs. When the Trump administration and the president called out this fact that we were running $1.2 trillion trade deficits. I mean, the rest of the world was selling us stuff and using our dollars to buy our country from beneath us, right? Remember, in 1985, we owned more of the rest of the world than they owned of us. And now the rest of the world owns 26 trillion more of us than we own of them. So the idea is the dollar where it is now is just more natural. We are exporting more, and that's why our GDP has grown so much, right? We had 4.4% GDP growth in the third quarter. I think personally, my opinion is I think the fourth quarter will be over 5%, and I think we reasonably could get over 6% in the first quarter because our exports are growing, the weaker dollar. Our imports have shrunk because of tariffs, and that's GDP growth.
Well, you say that our economy has been sort of stepping back from foreign investment, purchasing, et cetera, but the president touts every time he meets with a foreign leader how much money they're going to invest, i.e. buy American property, buy American facilities, et cetera. Is there a contradiction?
Building in America rather than us buying their products that they build overseas. When you build a product overseas, you're employing these foreign countries' people. When you build in America, you have to employ Americans to build the product. You build in America and you employ Americans to build your product is something that the president is pushing for. Stop importing. Let's build manufacturing. In America, you're going to see enormous manufacturing job growth coming over the course of 2026, in my opinion.
I haven't seen it yet, but I hope you're right. May I ask one more question, Mr. Chairman? Thank you. The Trump administration has approved sale of Nvidia H200 chips to China. I can tell you, I just came from the Armed Services Committee. I've served on that committee for 30-plus years. Talking to uniformed military officers, they are quite concerned. In fact, they believe this is a very dangerous situation of giving China literally a leg up in technology. And Commerce is requiring Nvidia to self-certify that the H200 chips sold to China are not for military or intelligence end use. Well, how will you, at the Department of Commerce, track the final end use of these chips to ensure that they're not used for military intelligence uses, and how will you enforce these conditions?
The license terms are very detailed. They've been worked out together with the State Department, and those terms NVIDIA must live with and must hew to.
Do you believe the Chinese will live with them? Did you trust the Chinese to follow up and to be the contract that they've executed with Nvidia?
I'll leave that opinion to the President of the United States.
Well, I would think it's a tragic, difficult, and wrong decision because, again, not only will the Chinese exploit, as they've demonstrated for the last several decades, any type of intellectual property they get their hands on. But I think also this might apply to the proposed sales to the United Arab Emirates, because it's quite easy for them to include it in a device, sell the device to China, have the Chinese take apart the device and get the chip, and they could say, oh, we didn't sell the chips to China. I think you've got a serious problem here, and without oversight by the Department of Commerce, real oversight, these chips will be misused to the detriment of our military forces. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.